The man in the woods. This happened last month and I'm still in shock. My boyfriend and I went hiking in Alabama. We both are avid campers and organized many camping trips so far. But it was our special tour, so we chose a high range surrounded by deep green woods. Alex is very sporty and loves joking to cheer up the mood. The woods were deep and we had to carry a map of the area so that we didn't get lost. After parking our car at the road near the hiking trail, we took our backpacks and started the journey. The plan was to hike to the big waterfall amidst the forest and then come back eventually. The waterfall was located right in the middle of the forest, so we had to walk a moderate amount of distance. I was feeling all refreshed as soon as the pure air touched my lungs. I have always been a fitness freak, so hiking is like meditation for me. Luckily, Alex shared the same interest, and this is why we fell for each other. Isn't the weather lovely? Not more than you. Oh, stop it. Don't be so cheesy. Look there. As I followed the direction he pointed to, Alex tickled me in the waist and ran ahead of me like a 6-year-old. You know I'm faster than you. Then why are you standing so far? I ran to him and he started running ahead again. He was mocking me and I was laughing too while chasing him in those woods. Life is really fun with him. After a point, we got tired and stopped to take a few breaths. We can't lose our energy like this. The waterfall is still a few miles away. Come on, we have to get back before dark. Yeah. Like it was my idea to chase you. He caressed my cheek while smiling flirtatiously and we started to walk again. There were narrow trails scattered around the woods, and we had no idea which one ended where. The only thing we knew was that one wrong direction was enough to get us lost in these woods forever. After walking for 2 hours straight, when we reached near the waterfall, the sun was above our heads. The average height of the waterfall stood like a hidden world. I have been to many forest waterfalls before but don't know why this one felt like a dream. The stones covering the waterfalls were all covered in green moss. Even the small pond where the water dropped was green too. Wow! The water is so green. Yeah. Makes it look even more beautiful. I'm feeling hungry. Let's eat, shall we? Alex sat down on a big rock and started taking pictures on his phone while I unpacked our lunch. I brought chicken sandwiches, fruit salads and some chocolate pudding. I knew the long hike would make us hungry, so I brought enough for the two of us. I handed him the sandwich and started to eat some salad first. We were eating and enjoying the sound of the waterfall when another sound came to our attention. The waterfall wasn't that big, so the sound was quite mellow. With the reverberating water, there was a sound of soil. Like someone was digging the ground. The sound came from the end of a narrow trail on our left. What is that sound? Seems like we are not the only ones here. Doesn't it sound like digging? Let's check it out. But we should be heading back in some time. Yeah, we will, Corey. But don't you want to know the mystery behind this sound? I still regret not saying no. We left our belongings near that waterfall and started to follow that sound. After walking 2-3 minutes on that narrow trail, we reached a big tree. The sound was now clearer. As we peeked behind that tree, we saw a weird-looking man digging holes in the middle of the woods. He was wearing brown trousers and a tattered jacket. He wore black rubber gloves and was digging the soil with a rusty spade. He was sweating like hell due to the exertion of the work. But the hole he dug wasn't even a foot deep, so I wondered why he looked so tired. What the hell is he doing? Doesn't he look too tired to dig a hole that small? Exactly. I was thinking that too. The man suddenly looked in our direction and we hid behind the tree quite immediately. Alex whispered to me, "Do you think he saw us?" I was breathing heavily out of panic, so I didn't answer him and waited for the digging sound to start again. Everything remained silent for a few seconds. At that time, I could imagine the man staring at the big tree with his creepy eyes, hoping to see someone interfering in his mysterious business. But when the digging resumed again, we both exhaled a sigh of relief. I looked at Alex and said in a low voice, "I don't want to stay here anymore. Can we please leave?" "Yeah. Let's crouch down so he doesn't see us." We crawled the ground like a four-legged animal to avoid being seen by this weird man. After coming back to the waterfall, we started to pack our stuff when Alex said, "Can you hear that?" "I don't hear anything." "Exactly. The digging sound has stopped. I wonder what he is doing now." "Well, I don't. I am going back. You are most welcome to join me." Alex and I started to hike back, but as we wasted our time spying on this creepy guy, when we reached the car it got dark. We had to drive for an hour more to leave the woods and get on the highway. Thinking how scary it would be to drive amongst the wood, I felt extremely scared. Also, the sight of that man spooked me enough. We got inside our car and Alex started the engine. As the headlights hit the dark road ahead, a cold shiver ran down my spine. The creepy man with the spade was now standing on the road, blocking our way. He was looking at our car with a gaze full of nothing but hatred. But then he smiled most disturbingly and said, "What did you see?" His voice was squeaky and harsh at the same time. My hands were numb and Alex's face turned pale too. He replied in a fumbled voice, "What the? Did he follow us?" "I asked you a question. What did you two see back there?" "Nothing." "Okay. We saw nothing, just you digging a stupid hole in the ground. Now move out of our way before we run over you." Hearing me threaten him, his eyes got even bigger with fury and he spat on our windshield. "Are you insane? Why can't you just leave us alone?" "Because you guys didn't do the same to me. I can't let you leave." "I am sorry. Or maybe I am not." Ha ha ha. Saying this, the man ran at us at full speed and smashed the windshield with his spade. With just one hard hit, the entire glass cracked. "Start the car. Start the car, Alex." Alex turned on the engine and the man hit the windshield once again, making the glass shatter. I was covered in broken glass that resulted in cuts all over my skin, so was Alex. But he pressed the accelerator with all his strength, and with a loud screech the car started. The man immediately jumped to the side of the road to save himself from getting run over. I swear if he didn't move, we would have run him over that night. As we drove away, he watched us while cursing in foul language. When we got onto the highway, we were shaking in fear. I started crying with this trauma, and Alex was petrified too. We went straight to the nearby police station and reported this incident. The cops took pictures of our car for their report and told us to identify the spot where we saw that man digging. The next day, we all went to that same place, but the man was nowhere to be found. The cops searched the area with dogs, and they barked at the ground where he was digging. The cops found a body of a young boy who was missing for a year. The boy had torture marks all over his body and signs of strangulations on his neck. It seemed like this man abducted the kid and tortured him for ransom. But his torture grew to such an extent that the boy eventually died. Being scared of the cops, he came deep into these woods to bury his body. He had to drag the body all this way, which is why he was panting while digging the hole that day. Alex and I have given proper information about his facial structures so the cops can catch this psycho murderer. I hope he gets arrested soon for what he did.